I could think of no better way to start a week than with the Monday mailbag, guys. Yeah, baby. So this week, I am answering your questions from the Discord. A lot of questions about Red Skull, Black Bolt, the Black Order, and so much more. And if you guys are ready for it, you know what to do. Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and all you Valley Maniacs out there. I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great Monday. I hope you had a great weekend, but it is time to answer your questions from the Discord server. Now, if you are not a member of the Discord server, make sure you use the link in the description so you could join that server and potentially get your question featured in one of these videos. I do these every single week, guys, but let's get your questions and hopefully I have some good answers for you this week. Greetings from Kent, Washington. I am one of the lucky free-to-play players who will be getting Black Bolt on his upcoming event later this month. In anticipation, I've been building the rest of my Inhumans. Who's a good fifth teammate to hold me over until his event? You got your usual suspects there. Kingpin, Merc, Riot Guard, Merc Lieutenant would work good. Merc Riot Guard would probably not because he has that protector tag and that would lessen Yo-Yo's value. But you also got a couple characters that Casino recommended, Crossbones, Wasp. I'd say all four of those characters would work, so I would go with whoever you don't currently have on a team, so it's not going to break up one of the teams that you're using a lot, and then whoever has the highest collection power, that's who I would slot into that team until you get Black Bolt, the real deal, brother. The team's not going to work as good without him, but yeah, you can start using them in some game modes, potentially like Blitz, and maybe eking out a few wins with that team until you get Black Bolt. Next question, longtime viewer of your channel, first time writing into the mailbag, sweet. All right, this morning got the good fortune of getting my second red star. The bad news, it was M'Baku. Our first choice would have been Captain Marvel. Is there anywhere a 7 red star M'Baku and the Wakandans might be useful to me? War, defense, raids maybe? How much should I bother building him up? So for me, the only real place I use that full Wakandans team right now is on war defense, like you mentioned, and in Blitz. I don't really use that full Wakandans team outside of there. So yeah, I mean, I would build them up if you're really serious about war defense, and it would make it a much more solid war Blitz team, excuse me. So that is the places I would use him. I don't know if even a 7 red star M'Baku, I know he is tanky, but unless you getting that damage from the Black Panthers or the Killmongers, I don't know if he'd be worth really putting a lot into that full Wakandans team. And I don't know if he's going to work too much outside of that Wakandans team either. So use him for Blitz, use him for war, but as kind of a luxury build, but it wouldn't be one of my primary characters that I would focus on, even with that 7 red stars. Greetings from New Jersey. I am a newer player, just unlocked Dark Dimension, have my Guardians at 5-star. Should I get them to 6-star to take them in? What are your thoughts on this? Keep the great content. You are a beast. You are a beast, brother. They are worth building up. I mean, Guardians are still a team that I use in the late game right now, so getting them to 6 stars wouldn't be the worst thing. You could kind of build them in the background, or you build them in the front, working on another team to unlock another legendary in the background. So it would be worth it. But for me, when I was in Dark Dimension 1, I just kind of went with the characters that I naturally got up to 6-star and used those characters. It wasn't a huge priority for me to build up certain characters for that game mode. It just kind of went in with whatever I had. And that might be the philosophy you take if you're really looking to unlock a lot of these legendary characters. Try to get the most teams that you could do that as possible. Next question. ValleyFlyin, don't worry about Vision being teamless. With Ironheart coming back to PA and Black Order coming to the game, this means Thanos is leaving the Technerva/BKT that we could slide Vision right into. I remember the arguments about BKT being better with Thanos or Vision. Now it seems the devs has ended that argument by removing Thanos. What do you say? So Vision, I think he does best on a tech team, which you have described. BKT would work, especially if people are pulling Thanos out of that team. The other team, though, that I would recommend to possibly place him on, depending on where your roster is, where your red stars lies, would be on that Avengers team. So this is a very good replacement on that team. I do like Thanos a little better because of the energy distribution, but if he's going to be off the team anyway, then yeah, Vision would work on that team, giving some defense up to the tech characters, make them a little more beefy in the beginning stages of that. Next question, ValleyFlyin, if you could swap out one member of the original Brotherhood team with Mr. Sinister, who would you do it to, and would you swap out them out if yes? All right, so This is a question that I have ran into in some of the Greek raids. And instead of having a Brotherhood team and a Marauders team, what I do is combine them. So I have Magneto, Pyro, and Juggernaut. That's the basis of whatever Brotherhood team you're going to run. I did put Sinister in there. And for the 5th, I use Mystique instead of Sabretooth. Toad and Blob are good options if you have them built up fully, but I don't. So I had to go with one of the other Marauder Brotherhood characters. And it came down to Mystique or Sabretooth. And I think Mystique works a little better in that team, especially for certain nodes. But that would be my answer to that question, brother. Next question. Dark Dimension 3. If you had the mats to take only one of these guys to T14, Mr. Sinister, 5-star, 3 red, or Magneto, 7-star, 5 red, which would it be? So in a vacuum, I would say Mr. Sinister hands down. I think he's a better character than Magneto. In your case, it gets a little tricky because you have a 5 red star Magneto, only 3 red stars on Mr. Sinister. So just kind of basing off that, Magneto might be the better choice, but at least until now, at least until Mr. Sinister becomes farmable, or unless you get better red stars on that character, I'll probably hold off right now because some of the clones that you're going to be cloning, they're not going to be that strong to really give him the value that I think he deserves. So in this particular case, I'd probably say Magneto for the time being. But yeah, Sinister is a much better character in my opinion than Magneto. Next question, ValleyFlyin, long-time viewer, first-time caller. I am free to play. I have 2 7 red star characters on the same team, Kree Oracle and Kree Reaper. Ouch, ouch. All right, my question. Should I bring them up to Gear 13 along with Minerva for Dark Dimension 2? Pairing them with Scientist Supreme and Sabretooth because I both have them as 6 red stars as well. Man, you got some... a lot of nice red star pulls there. I'm not sure about the Kree Oracle and Kree Reaper though. They wouldn't be one of my first choices, but of course this is not something in your control. So would they be good with Minerva? Normally I would say no, but in your case, not the worst thing. Kree Oracle on his basic can give some ability energy. On Kree Reaper's passive, she can give out some ability energy. So that would be the key with Minerva. So maybe going with them just based on your red star level instead of someone like a Star-Lord would be good. Scientist Supreme is great. Sabretooth is good situationally. But I think the important thing is getting into that game mode and starting that grind right away. So if you're close with those characters, probably work on that. If you are not, you could probably still go with Star-Lord instead of Sabretooth to give Minerva even more energy and getting her to use that ult even more. But yeah, in your answer to your first question, it probably would be worth building up just based on your red star levels. But yeah, I'm not sure how much use you're going to get outside of that game mode with those 2 characters because they're okay. They're not the best though. But yeah, for you, it would probably work good. Next question, ValleyFlyin, brother ValleyFlyin. I hope you and your family is well. I hope same for you guys, brother. Do you eat poke? Yes. If so, any good recipes that aren't too spacey? I don't know. There's a lot of good recipes out there. I think most of them are based mainly on shoyu and sesame oil, and there's some other things you can put on there like green onions. I like to put chili peppers because I like it spicy, but if you don't, then obviously don't put that. Late November to early December, Swaga released new tunes and to tie in with episode 9 by March. All of these characters are now farmable and did not replace the original tune on that node. So now if you farm the node, you get 2 characters. This release method really encouraged me to buy a chest of crystals to keep up with the energy refreshes to farm these new characters. If Strike Force released this character in a way, I would spend more. Any thoughts? I think that is a good point there that maybe the people at Fox Nace need to look at, making a double farm node with some of the with some of these not high value characters that are farmable right now. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would like that. Very, very player friendly. And I think at some point they're gonna run out of places to put these tunes to farm them on. So I think that's something that they would do down the road, but they still have a Nexus campaign to release. So yeah, that's where I expect the new characters right now. But I think down the road, once they start running out of nodes, that is something that we might see in this game. Next question. Hey, Valley, quick question. I have over 1,000 orange mats saved up. I have not put any on Hydra and was curious if you could give your opinion on essential T4s for that team. So there are a few T4s to really make that team strong. Before you do that, though, I do want to mention that people have put a lot of T4s in the team, and they still get punched up on pretty good with those Inhumans in war. So keep that in mind if you're gonna put these T4s on that team. But If you're talking about the T4s, I think my favorite one is going to be the Rifle Trooper one, because that gives him a guaranteed assist or a guaranteed attack if someone is using a non-attack move. And opening maneuver, all 4 of those other minions are going to be using non-attack moves, so that'll just up the damage a little, at least for that opening turn. It ups his damage a little when he dies as well, so that would probably be my favorite. Red Skull has some very, very awesome ones. His ultimate is very, very good. There's a lot of extra damage, and then his passive is also very good, increasing the damage and the health of that team. And then you got a couple other passives that you might want to look into as well. The Sniper passive is going to increase the speed of that team, and that Scientist passive is going to increase the health of that team. So those are the ones I would think are essential. But just keep in mind, even with that, they can still be punched up upon with that Inhumans team. Next question. Thank you, ValleyFlyin, for keeping us sane during these crazy times. Well, I'm glad I'm helping to keep you sane, brother. I am at the point of building my AIM team. Would like to have your suggestion on 3 minions to bring with Scientist Supreme and Graviton. So your security is a little lower, the 3 gold, 3 red. I mean 4 gold, 4 red. I think that is a essential part of that team. So now it comes down to the remaining 2. I like Monstrosity. He is not your best red star characters, but personally I like him on the team. And I like Assaulter as well. Again, not the best with the red stars, gold stars. So I would use that team that I'm using right now, the Monstrosity, Assaulter, and Security. I've also pulled 6 red stars on that Researcher. I just don't use him a lot. I think that's not the best version of that team, but yeah, I think you might want to build up all of them and just use the starting 3 for those teams, and then use Researcher in situational cases. But yeah, I like Monstrosity, Assaulter, and Security, brother. Next question. Love your content. I think it's been a great help, so keep smashing it. I'm a late game player. I'm starting to get to the point where only farmable tunes or minions I have no plans to really use. My question, how would you recommend spending energy to hit the 600 daily task? Just grinding the minions to finish up with slowly, or farm gear with not so great drop rates? I think gear is the way to go. I was in that situation as well. Before they had the new villains chapter, I was farming a Hydra Sniper even before that Hydra got their rework. So I was just trying to do those villains for the daily achievements. But yeah, I think in the long run, you're going to be best served by building up certain teams and upping their gear, even if the drop rate isn't as good, brother. Next question. ValleyFlyin, I am in dire need of training modules. I've been doing a great lot of leveling for AIM, so I can do Villains Chapter 7. I'm at 135k now for that team. Now, I did get a few people messaging me that they did that node with about 110 Hydra teams, so it might take less resources, and I think I'm changing my opinion on recommending AIM. I think AIM is better for that long run, for where you're going to use them in the game, but I think Hydra, if you're looking to get into that very quickly, that might be the way to go. Anyways, which campaign nodes give the most training modules? I think I'm going to start to farm this specifically, so I really don't have to. So I really shouldn't have to do that this late in the game. I am running into that same problem as well. The main place that I get these are from the challenges 3 times a week, so that's where I'm mainly getting them. And then sometimes I'm opening Kingpin orbs, things like that. That is where I'm looking forward to get these training modules. I'd get some in the campaigns, but I'm not really focusing on what I'm getting in the campaigns. So that is a game of resource management. You gotta really plan out who you're gonna level in this game to make the most use of your resources. Next question. Greetings from Tennessee, brother. What are your thoughts on expanding the military tag and making a military team? There are only 3 of those currently. I would like to see characters like Cable, Deadpool, Crossbones included. I mean, you could make a case for some other characters as well, but I think the initial reason that they didn't expand this tag further was it would just make Captain Marvel so extremely strong. So nowadays, I don't know if they need to do that. So I would be in favor of a military team, brother, as long as it doesn't make Captain Marvel too overpowered, because she's already a beast. Next question. Can you explain the vid with Red Skull charges after a lost match starts again with 8? So yeah, he does that. If you read his passive, he shouldn't, as long as because he should be decreasing the charges that he gets. A lot of players don't know what's going on with this after reviving a few kills. Better starts a new fight, cancel the fight. It's not exactly explained. So here's the thing. I know how it reads in the passive. It should be decreasing the charges. You should start the match with less charges instead of full 8. I think you do start with 8 though, but if he does take damage, then he won't start with any charges. So for that, you could do a double shot if you can't really beat that Hydra team. Go in with someone with bleeds, get his health down, and just let the fight time out. Don't cancel it because it's going to restart. But if you do some damage and he has a little bit of health missing, he will start the next fight with 0 health. And if you got a character that can apply defense down, he will take some damage. But if you got a character that applies bleeds, it will go through that damage and he will have a little bit of damage there, which means he's not going to start with that. So that is a strategy you could use against Hydra if you are willing to do a double shot on that team. Next question. Hey, Valley, I want to T4 Ultron's ultimate. I've done his special already. My question is, should I do it or should I save my T4s for when I unlock Black Bolt? So saving T4s is not a bad thing, especially if you know you're going to unlock a very high value character like Black Bolt. With that said, though, my preference, and everybody probably has different preferences, my preference is finish the character that I'm working on and then move on to the next character. So if this was me, I would finish Ultron, and his ultimate and his passive are both very valuable in addition to his special. You do the right one first. I would do both of those, and then I would start to save for Black Bolt or whatever other character you want to work on. But that is me. Black Bolt is a high value character, so it's not necessarily wrong to save it for him. But you know, since he's not in a game yet and probably not going to be here till late in April, you're going to get some value for Ultron right now. So that is what I would recommend, just completing it. Next question. Greetings from Brazil. Greetings from Texas, rather. What teams do I use on war defense? Are the Marauders any good for war defense? So there's 4 meta teams for war defense right now. You got Hydra, Asgardians, Coulson Fury, Shield, and then that Marauders team that you mentioned. Are they any good? They're good, but sometimes the AI is going to have Sinister clone the wrong character, so they're not the perfect war defense team. With that mechanic, they're probably a little more suited towards offense than defense. But I use those 4 teams because they are the meta teams. They were designed for war defense. In addition to that, I use the Wakandans, I use Defenders, I use Sinister Six, and then some type of Captain Marvel team because she's a beast on war defense. And that's what my defense consists of right now, brother. All right, next questions. Greetings from Germany, brother. Hope you're doing well in these crazy times. Keep your positive attitude. I enjoy your content for a while now. Well, thank you, brother. Excuse me. Wondering what your alliance is managing and off war. Do you guys rest once a week, war to try to refresh and win the other 2, or do you try to win all 3 wars? We try to win all 3 wars. I've been in alliances that do a couple different things, and you know, if we see that we're not going to win a war, then we sort of save resources. If they take out our armory very early, or if it's like some crazy team that, you know, if we were fighting Cabal or something, then we'll take off a little earlier than usual and just do 2 refreshes, or maybe not call for the refreshes, depending on what happens. But yeah, we normally play hard for the wars. And I think your question is, should you go hard or pick a day? I don't like picking in that day, because if you have that day that you set aside, maybe a Friday, that you're not going to go hard in war, and you get an easy matchup that you can win pretty easily, then it's to your detriment to not fight that war. But if on one of your hard days you get a tough matchup like a Cabal or something, then you know, it's not a fight that you're going to want to spend resources on. So yeah, I like waiting to see what happens in war before switching up strategies and saving resources or not. Next question is, love your show. First time caller. Oh, thank you, Lieutenant. Mid-game player who has Ultron and a 250k Fantastic Four team. Looking for offensive war teams. Do I start the next symbiote, have a 6 red star Carnage, but only a 3 red star, 3 star symbiote? Yeah, that's going to be the problem with that team, or the power armor team, since they're all farmables. Any suggestions? I think you're right on with your judgment right there. I would go with the power armor team, not only because once Ironheart comes into the game, I think they're going to move into the top 3 of war offense, but you mentioned it right here. They're all farmable. Even with that awesome Carnage, brother, you're still going to be held back a little bit by that symbiote Spider-Man. So once you get them up, once you get more gold stars, the symbiotes are going to be the team to work on. But right now, today, I would probably go power armor first, brother. Next question. Greetings from San Diego, brother. Greetings from Texas. Got some concerns about the red star change. So here's what I'm thinking. They lower the cost to promote 4 to 5 and make it easier to obtain the credits all the way to go from 5 to 6, which is almost essentially making red stars irrelevant since they'll be more readily available, which means they're going to introduce a new dynamic like the ISO 8s or Gear 15. What do you think? I don't think it's a matter of if they're going to do these changes. I think it's a matter of when. They held back on ISO 8 specifically to fix what was wrong with the red stars. And if all these changes go through, and if they make new tunes farmable up to 4 stars, I think this would be a much better red star system. The only thing I don't like is the new tunes not being available for purchase, but they made that change. I think it's a much better system. And then I think they're going to start working on other things. I think they're going to hold off just a little bit to see the reaction from the community before they start going into ISO 8 or making another gear tier. I think the ISO 8 will become before gear tier 15, but yeah, it's just a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. I think both of those things are coming to the game at some point, brother. All right, next question. Hey, ValleyFlyin, fist bump from Alberta. Which camera do you use for your videos? Me, I want to use my DSLR for videos, which I've been putting out, but I haven't been able to get the camera to work with it. Frustrating because I have green screen ready to go, just can't seem to connect it to my computer without spending a lot of money. So I'm curious if you use a webcam or a camera. So I had a DSLR when I first started as well. Didn't use that. I used one of those cheap Logitech webcams. Now my wife wanted to get one recently, and they're not as cheap as they are before. I think because of this lockdown, some of the products have gotten a little more expensive. Unfortunately, webcams have gotten a little more expensive, but the first thing I used was a webcam. After that, I did start to use my DSLR, had a lot better quality of the camera, which allowed me to do some green screening and things like that. But yeah, there's a limit. My DSLR could only record up to 20 minutes. So if I was doing longer videos, I'd have to stop and re-edit the thing. And then I would record my sound and my video on a separate file. So then I had to sync it all up. It was challenging. What I use right now is a Sony camcorder. And if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. It's an Amazon link that does support the channel. So you can check that out, see what I use right now. And the other thing you would need to connect that to your computer though is a capture card. I use an Elgato capture card. It's for gaming, but it also works with cameras. So you could do that. I like the internal Elgato card because it has less problems. I've heard mixed things about the external capture card, but also might want to invest in one of those if I ever start to do console games or things like that. So that's what I use. You can check out the links, and they are Amazon links down below that support the channel, brother. Hello, ValleyFlyin. At work today, myself and 2 of my coworkers tried the 100 Burger King chicken nugget challenge, and one guy quit at 63. One guy got to 72 and lost his lunch, and I ate 100 and then turned to them, and one of their ate one off one of their plates. 101 nuggets down, baby. Will you, Casino and OMG, try this challenge? I say it's very unlikely, and I don't know whether to congratulate you for that or give you condolences for that, man. That is a lot of nuggets. All right, MSF question. Who do you recommend for the ability match challenge? It's a controller and protector. I have a 60k shield security, so I was thinking of security, Invisible Woman, Thanos, Hela, Star-Lord. Honorable mentions to Magneto, Mordo, Ronan. Your thoughts? I like all of your honorable mentions. They're very good. Security, I don't think he's the best for that challenge, but if he is your highest tune at 60k, then I don't think you really have a choice but to bring him in. Thanos, I'm not that big of a fan on. You know, the Loki is another one you want to mention that what you want to consider that you haven't mentioned. Another one that you might want to consider is Vision. And of course, it's going to be dependent on where these guys are powered, where their red stars are, where their gold stars are. But those are the characters that I would probably consider. Probably not too much Thanos unless you have like crazy red stars on him. But look at those characters, and yeah, Hela's definitely a good one to build, and Loki pairs well with her. Mordo, I like your suggestion there. But yeah, start looking at the Star-Lord as well, Loki as well. Magneto works well as well. So good stuff. Next question. Will the red star rework affect raid difficulty? So supposedly not. According to their message that they sent out, all the characters that have current red stars are going to be scaled back. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it all. We'll see what happens when it actually plays out, because as you know, if you've been playing this game for a while, with every update, there's surprises that happen. Next question. Valley couldn't leave a comment on the news video, so I assume you're trying to use a hashtag for that news video to try to enter that contest. So just make sure that when you use the hashtag, it is one word using that hashtag. Now, YouTube, for some reason, filters out any comments that have a hashtag. So what I need to do is go in and approve every comment manually, which I will do before I do the drawing. So if you've already left a message on that video with a hashtag and doesn't show up, that's why. And if you have left a message and you didn't use the hashtag, all one word with the hashtag, no spaces, make sure you go back and leave another comment. It's probably not going to show up till I go in and approve it manually, but That is how I'm going to be choosing the winner, someone that has the full hashtag on there. All right, ValleyFlyin. We got bored on isolation, so started making up random theme teams. Blondes have more fun with Thor, Sue, Captain Marvel, Torch, and Star-Lord. Flight attendants, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Storm, Invisible Woman, Crystal, the flying females. Firing squad with Winter Soldier, Punisher, Korath, Trooper, Killmonger. Can you join in our game and come up with some new unique teams based on 5 in the random theme? All right, so these aren't necessarily going to be great teams, but someone mentioned the redheaded team a long time ago, so I did want to mention them. Phoenix, Black Widow, Crystal, Elsa, Scarlet Witch. There is a COVID protection team with teams that are doing their good job and wearing protection masks. Winter Soldier, Vulture, Medic, Reaper, and Scientist Supreme. She doesn't have her nose covered, but she has her mouth covered. And then there's a Bleed team, and this team might work. I don't know, maybe not. They seem a little squishy, but Carnage, Venom, Pyro, Ghost Rider, and Human Torch. And if you guys have any other interesting teams that might not work in the game, but would be like a cool fit together, let me know in the comments, guys. All right, next question. ValleyFlyin, what's up, brother? Big fist bump from Cali. Big fist bump back to you, brother. I know 300 coins is a bad investment for red stars. What is your opinion on using them to 5 red star for Phoenix, then bumping her to up to 6 star with coins as well? Not a bad thing. Remember though, on April 15th, that is going down to 150. Now, if you do it now, no big deal because they're supposed to refund you the difference. But, you know, like I said in a previous question, some things don't always work how they should. So I'll probably just wait until these red stars go into effect, spend 150. That's not that bad of investment, not as bad as 300, but Phoenix, definitely a good character. I'm thinking of doing that myself. I have a 4 red star Phoenix, and I wouldn't mind a 6 red star Phoenix. It sounds pretty good. It's gonna be a lot of saving, but I might do that as well, my friend. Next question. When are they going to fix the freezing issues? It makes the game unplayable for someone that's been at it a year and a half. It's very frustrating, hinders production and performance severely. Yeah, so that is a bad thing. Not something that I've experienced myself personally recently. It is something that I experienced with some of the previous updates, but yeah, I know a lot of people are still experiencing this. I guess for them to fix it, they would need to know what's wrong. So make sure you write into support every time it happens. Let them know your device. I'm not sure what is causing it, if it's device related, but yeah, write in and let them know. Let them know. If people just complain without giving the details, then I don't think they have the knowledge of what they need to work on. So send in your details, and if you're experiencing problems, just write into support and let them know as well, brothers. Because yeah, if they don't know what to fix, then they're not going to be looking at that stuff. All right, next question. Could you please suggest a team for Ultima 7 node gun and run? Sometimes snipers and Rocket Raccoon one-shot my Gear 13 level 71 tunes. So there's a first issue right there. You're using level 71 tunes. If you're having the resources, I would build them up to level 75. They're not going to see a huge bump from 74 to 75, but they're going to gain a little more survivability with that. So bump them up. But the team you're using, Ultron, Minerva, Scientist Supreme, Shuri, Captain Marvel, and one more question, what's the proper positioning for Asgardian? So I'll come back to that one. But the team that I used to use before I got Black Bolt and Yo-Yo was Ultron, Scientist Supreme, Shuri. I would use Groot, and I would use Falcon. That would get me through a lot of the nodes. Not necessarily one-shotting the nodes, but it had so much survivability that I didn't need to use refreshers for that. So try bumping up your tunes levels and try using that team, see if it works for you. I don't remember that node specifically, but try that team. As far as proper positioning for the Asgardians, I have Sif on one end, Thor is right next to him, and then the rest of the 3 don't really matter to me. So now that Thor, it is dependent on who is your most powerful. So if you say you have a real strong Heimdall, you might want to replace him in that Thor spot. Or if you have a real strong Loki or someone, possibly, if it is way above the other characters. But I like Thor next to Sif, and the rest don't really matter too much to me. Next question, ValleyFlyin's greetings from the ATL. Recently, I have run out of improved basic catalyst gear to get my characters to tier 9. It's become a problem for newer players. I'm working on teams such as Hydra and Inhumans. As a late game player, how would you recommend farming these? Blue Raid Orb RNG has been very slow. So one thing you could do, you could purchase these in the raid store whenever you see them in the shop. I like to purchase a lot of gear in that raid store. The other thing, if you really are in a rush for these teams, the Hydra and Humans, and really need to build them up now, you go to farming them from nodes. But if not, you could farm your other gear, your other characters, and start to work on these in the background. Whenever you get lucky with that blue gear, you could work on them kind of as a background team. So depending how fast you need it, I might go and farm them for those from nodes. If you don't need them right away, then just hold off and start building these teams in the background, brother. All right, next question. Aloha, brother. What is the best ideal Red Skull team? The Hydra minions minus Grenadier. Next question. Any idea when Cerebral is going to do another strike time video? It has been since a while since the last one. So he was supposed to put one out this previous Friday, and that one was supposed to be about the Black Order. So since he did ask us for questions and things he wanted to ask about the Black Order, I'm thinking that got delayed, and I am expecting, I haven't heard anything officially from him, but I'm expecting that strike time to be this coming Friday. So that's when I think we could expect it, brother. Next question. Let's go smash it. Love the videos, brother. About to start leveling either AIM or Hydra for the Villains campaign to get hella farmable. After the last war, seeing Red Skull in action, wow. Have more stars for Hydra, 5 to 7 with a 3-star Red Skull. AIM is all 5 stars. Thoughts? So I have seen people, I have gotten messages from people that have beat those Villains nodes with about 110k Hydra teams. So my recommendation used to be AIM because they're going to be more valuable for you in the long run. I think they're a better overall team. But yeah, if Hydra, you don't need to put as many resources in and you can get to that 3-star for those villain campaigns for that all-important Hela, then that is probably what I would do. So I'm changing my recommendation now to go with Hydra. And yeah, you'll probably be able to beat it without putting as many resources into that team. Next question. With characters having to wait till they're farmable in the Red Star store, what does this mean for milestone characters like Captain Marvel, Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Coulson? So they specifically said, I don't know if this was something behind the scenes or something that they announced publicly, but they specifically said that this would not affect characters that are already in the store. So all current characters that are there are going to remain there. So not sure what it's going to mean for milestone characters in the future, though, because I'm sure that Symbiote, Spider-Man, Coulson, Captain Marvel, they're not the only milestone characters we're going to have in this game. Hopefully, they take the suggestion and make these characters purchasable up to 4 red stars, and after that, I'll wait until they're farmable. So I'm hoping that what would happen. That is what happens, guys. All right, next question is ValleyFlyin. Are you still saving premiums and Ultimus orbs? Have you just opened them? I opened a few yesterday on the stream of the Ultimus orbs. Still pretty much saving the premium orbs. Once in a while I get antsy and open 10 here, 10 there, but for the most part I'm saving all of them pretty much. Second question, will you be spending cores to get through Dark Dimension 3 faster? As of right now, I have not spent any cores to get through that faster. In fact, I've forgotten and missed a few days, but yeah, I'm no plans on spending cores right now. That might change if something comes up. But yeah, no plans right now for that. Just kind of taking it as a easy, fun pace right now. If I get Phoenix's ult off, then or Dark Phoenix's ult off, then I'm happy with that run, and that's pretty much it for me for the day. Next question, ValleyFlyin. I hope you are smashing it and cleanly washed hands and a safe social distance. Well, I hope you are doing the same, brother. With the change to red stars and promotion credits, do you think it's now worth it to hold on to 5 red star orb shards for an elite 5 orb? Or is the old recommendation of cashing out those orbs at 500 times for 5 promotion credits still the way to go? So I have not opened one of them. I don't get any of those tokens very often, so I am just holding them. I'm not. If I get a 5-star orb to open before I need to cash it out, then I probably will open that. But as of right now, if I see a character in the store that I really need to build up to that next star level, then I will cash them out. But for the most part, I'm going to be holding them. There's not really a lot of characters that I'm looking for in the store right now. All right, next question though. Good day, ValleyFlyin. Thanks for answering my question last week, and shout out to us Aussie players. My question, do you still buy ABC from the store? In fact, what do you buy from all the stores? So I do still buy ABCs from the supply store once in a while with gold. Usually not, but once in a while. Anytime I see it pop up in the raid store, I will buy them. And what am I doing from all the stores? So the normal store with gold that you buy, pretty much mini uniques. I'm getting mini uniques. I want more characters available for Dark Dimension 3, so that's what I'm looking for there. Once in a while, I'll buy certain pieces of gear, but for the most part, it's just mini uniques. The arena store, nothing, because I have all those characters at 7 stars. Once in a while, I'll do some Kingpin orbs. Blitz store is war defense, war offense, and strife for right now. And as far as those orbs, I'm pretty much opening the big one that has those ABCs in it. So sometimes I get that, sometimes I don't, but that's what I'm doing. The Blitz store. What other do we have? Raid store. I don't have Namor at 7 stars, so I'm investing in Namor. Usually I'm buying purple gear in that store though. Once in a while, I'll do some orange gear if I'm missing some of those pieces, but there's no superiors in there. There's no mini uniques, and there's no superior uniques in that store. So I don't buy orange too much in that store. War store, pretty much just sift right now. Once in a while, if I have a lot of extra war currency, I'll buy a Graviton or some mini uniques, but that's pretty much it. That's what I'm doing in all the stores. I don't think I forgot any except for the Red Star store, and I'm not doing anything right there right now. Similar to MSF, and they have a mechanic where you can donate, ask from your alliance material. Do you think Foxnex would ever consider doing something like that? Ever is a very long time, so would they ever do that? It is possible, but I don't see them doing anything like that in the near future. Nothing they've teased that is coming up suggests that, but you know, Casino always says you cannot, there's no precedent when it comes to Foxnex, so they surprise us with things all the time. So I don't think it's likely, but we could get a big surprise. This would be a good surprise in the player's favor. Next question, long question here. Let me move this down just a little bit so you can see the main question here that I want to talk about. Greetings from Ohio. Hope you're doing well in the crazy times. Have you noticed that tier 12 of the ability challenges recently had a rework to the AI? It seems that Captain Marvel's target, the weakest non-minion character. They always used to target Greg. This happened after some of the challenges briefly got pulled down and back up. This is not listed on a blog post or anything. This quite frankly makes everyone ability tier 12 video useless because the strategies cannot be duplicated. So yes, this was something that was announced on Twitter by, I think it's Cerebro that handles the main Marvel Strike Force account, but let's go take a look at it, guys. Boom. This is what was said here. Prior to version 3.1, there was a bug exploit with characters in certain PvE missions that would always target summon characters first. For example, Hela summoned as undead Asgardian Greg because of the low base health values. This meant that those enemies would never attack a non-summon character, which undermines the intended experience. Was corrected in version 3.1. So 3.10. So usually these type of changes are included in update notes, but this detail was overlooked at the time. Thanks for reporting it. So I'm in the same boat as you, man. I think this kind of sucks because I didn't do all of those challenge tiers with my Hela. I was still working on her and never came back to it before this. So it kind of sucks, but this was their announcement that this was made, and yeah, that is the reason why. I guess if it was never intended in the first place, then it's fine. But yeah, it does suck for players like you and me that didn't get to tier 12 on all these challenges with Hela. ValleyFlyin, greeting from the French countryside. Love what you're doing. Keep it up, bro. Well, thank you, brother. I'm losing war energy with the game freezing and got it captured on screenshot. How can I get compensation for that? So like I said, in previous updates, the game was freezing for me a lot. I would have to write into support a lot, and most of the time they've been pretty good. When a battle crashes during war, if I had a screenshot, I would include that. And same thing with blitzing. So I don't always write in, but if this is happening a lot to you, send in a lot of support tickets. And like I said to the previous question about these crashes, include as much information about your device and things possible, so hopefully that can come up with the solution. But when I've had crashes and things happen in the game, I've written to support and they've been pretty good. So make sure you're doing that so you're not losing out every time the game crashes on you, brother. All right, next question. Hello from Kansas. Hello from Texas. Why is it when I use my regular Phoenix, Alt T4, on a taunting jug and don't remove all of his buffs, he doesn't resist, and it cost me a few games in arena? So I'm not sure why it would not remove the buffs unless it is getting resisted, and it's just not saying it's getting resisted. So one idea that came to mind when I saw this question was maybe, you get a bump at level 71 as far as focus and resistance, and another one at level 74. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe he just has a lot more resistance than your Phoenix has focus to compensate for that, especially if he is a character that also gives out extra resistance to Juggernaut. So keep that in mind. But what I would recommend, if you don't already have her there, build your Phoenix up to level 74 at the minimum, and level 75 if you want. But yeah, that should get around those taunts most of the time. So that's what I could think of. If you guys could think of anything else in the comments, though, let me know, because the only thing I could think of is getting resisted, or there's a bug. Next question. Greetings from Texas, brother. Well, greetings from Texas, brother. Long time fine. Join the Discord so I can write into my question. Hope you and your family are well. Thank you. We are good. Oh, I'm glad you're good. All right. Started a few months ago on your farming guide. Well done. Just unlocked Star-Lord, now Thanos, and Minerva. I've been gearing them up to try to get into Dark Dimension 2. But now that Magneto is coming back, thanks to your guide, I will be able to unlock him. Once I get him, should I finish BKT, then switch to Brotherhood, or gear up Magneto first? Thanks for the feedback. Keep up the spirit and fire, my man. All right, so I personally like to finish teams before I move into the next ones. It is up to you what you want to do. I like to complete teams first and then move on. So that's what I would recommend, but it's not necessarily wrong to move on to the Brotherhood, because I think Brotherhood right now is a little more relevant against a lot of these meta teams. But either way, you're not going wrong. But make sure you finish these teams eventually. If you leave it, and just make sure you come back to them. All right, next question. Valley Maniac here has another question. Nice. All right, haven't beaten Dark Dimension 1 yet. Going slowly with the ones I can take in. Should I focus on 7-star and good characters, or finishing up Dark Dimension 2, keep chipping away at Dark Dimension 1? So Dark Dimension 1, like I said previously, wasn't a mode that I really was focused on. Kind of just whatever characters I got up to that star level, I would take them in as necessary. So I think the bigger focus for a lot of players should be Dark Dimension 2, because that prize is Ultron. Now, Dark Dimension 1 is going to have a lot of those superior gear pieces, which means that it's going to be easier to get into Dark Dimension 2. But hey, if you're ready for Dark Dimension 2, I think the prize is a lot bigger. So focus on that one and then come back and start chipping away, like you said, at Dark Dimension 1. Next question. Valley, greetings from Latvia. What is up, brother? I keep hearing about Taskmaster because of the Black Widow movie. What tag would he get if he comes to the game, and what team would he be best on? So I do think Taskmaster is coming to the game whenever that Black Widow movie is gonna come out, and the latest rumors is November for that movie. So might not be for a while, but when he does come to the game, I see him having that mercenary tag and maybe making that mercenary team relevant again. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I have heard rumors about him coming to the game, but I've not heard rumors about anything else. So your guess on this is going to be as good as mine, brother. ValleyFlyin is free-to-play players now, 702 days. My biggest pain in the game is arena slingshot system. I made a video on how I fight from rank 3 to rank 1. Finished the fight and I'm on the 8th spot. How could this be fixed? Any thoughts? So what happens? Slingshot system is, if you are in battle, anybody can attack you. So at the end of that battle, let's say you move up to that number 1 spot, but let's say you were at the 5 spot and got hit and went down to 8. Well, you're going to be at 8 once that player that was hitting you finishes his battle. So I guess the only way that they could really combat this is if you are in a battle, you can't be attacked. Right now, if you're attacking someone, you cannot attack that person if they're in battle, but you yourself can be attacked. So if they switch that up, make it so that if you are in battle, if your opponent's not in battle, then that is the only way you could be attacked. But that's how they could fix it. That would be a quick fix, but it's been in the game for a while now. I'm not sure if they're interested in fixing that or not, but yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying. I've been on both sides of those slingshots though, so I think at the end of the day, it does even out. Hey, Valley, what do you think is the best team for Dark Dimension 2 now, with Scientist Supreme, Hela, and Mr. Sinister being more meta now? Yes, I don't have Phoenix or Black Bolt, so I still think that combo Star-Lord, Minerva is the best Dark Dimension 2 team. All those characters you mentioned, very, very good characters, probably work very good in that game mode. But yeah, whoever you could get those pieces for is still who I recommend. But if you could focus on Minerva and Star-Lord, those are very, very important characters in my opinion. Hey, Valley, greetings from Ohio. What is up, brother? All right, on pace to get Black Bolt this time around. What is the best team to use him on without the other Inhumans? Thanks for the content and the positivity. So I use part of the Inhumans. I use Yo-Yo and every time I have Black Bolt in. But on Arena, for example, right now I have Ultron, Black Bolt, Yo-Yo, I have Sinister, and Phoenix. Now, some people like Invisible Woman instead of Yo-Yo in that spot on offense. So that is one team you could use. And then my raid team is the only other team that I use with Black Bolt outside of the full Inhumans team, but that does also have Yo-Yo as well. My primary team for that would be Ultron, Shuri, Scientist Supreme, Black Bolt, and Yo-Yo. But if you're not using Yo-Yo, Invisible Woman would be a good alternate for that team as well. So those are my 2 recommendations, brother. ValleyFlyin, I need about 100 stars to 5-star Sif. I'm not getting good RNG in the War Store. Would you suggest refreshing the store 2 times a day? If you have the credits and you're just getting bad RNG of him not popping in the store, then it probably would be worth it. You got a couple more weeks till that event should be here. So yeah, I probably would not want to miss out on that character because he's such a good character. So if you have the credits, then I would probably do it at this point just because this event is so near. Next question. Oh, we got 2 questions. Next question, ValleyFlyin. 2 questions for the same person. All right. Is there a metric that exists in the game where the calendar, everyone gets a T1 on day 11, could change to certain gamers get T1, certain gamers get T2, and maybe certain gamers get T3 on day 11? I don't think there's anything in the game right now that exists, but I think it should exist. The only argument for that would be that it helps players that are further along in their roster get further and further along while still kind of holding some of the newer players back. So that would be an argument against that. But I would be in favor of it. But yeah, I just as long as it doesn't affect the newer players too much. I know it would help my roster personally, but you know, whatever is best for the overall health of the game. Because you know, if I have this crazy roster and there's nobody new that wants to play and people are quitting and nobody new is coming up, then you know, the game's not going to be that fun. So the other question is, I just refreshed the store for 50 power cores for the first time. I noticed that it only affected 1 section. Does that seem a little pricey? I mean, it's always does that. So if you just refresh the raid store, only the raid store is going to refresh. If you just refresh a normal supply section, just that is going to be refreshed. A little pricey. I mean, I think they have to make it a little pricey, but I mean, it is what it is. It's been like that since the first part of the game. I think it'd be too easy. Now, I remember in beta, there was a bunch of refreshes you could do without spending cores. That was pretty good. So I do think that is something that they tested, but for one reason or another, and I think it's money, they took that out once the game globally launched. Next question, brother. Greetings, Valley, from the Great White North, Saskatchewan, Canada. I have a question from DD3. Would Vision be viable? Considering him over Ultron as my is a 6 red star, they require the same uniques but less for Vision. I appreciate all you do on your content. It's great. It helps everyone through to stay safe. Best to you and your family. Some best to you and your family as well. Vision, especially your Vision, would be a little more valuable, specifically in Dark Dimension 3. I don't think Ultron is one of the best characters for that game mode, but I did bring him up for Dark Dimension 3 because I know how much I use him outside of that game mode. And that's kind of what I was thinking when building up Ultron. I know I'm going to use him outside of that game mode in every game mode, war, arenas, the raids, pretty much everywhere. Whereas Vision, not really using him too much. So when you're talking specifically for Dark Dimension 3, especially with your 6 red star Vision, then yes. But if you want to consider other game modes, then consider that. Ultron is a little more expensive as far as what he costs to upgrade. So there's the argument there. But personally, I think I like Ultron just a little better, brother. All right, greetings, brother, from the land. I know it's not in the data mines, but wouldn't it fit the spending model for Foxnex to have an orb opening event after the Black Bolt event and before the Inhumans are released in the orbs? Again, kind of like the answer to the previous question. With Foxnex, there's no precedent, so it would fit the timing, but as far as what they do and don't do, they're so hard to predict, brother. Your guess is as good as mine on this one. So, like I always say, if you need the orbs, open them. If you don't need them and can't afford to hold them for an event that may or may not possibly come up, then hold them. But yeah, if you need the orbs, open them and don't wait for an event. ValleyFlyin, could you explain the crane theory for orb drops? All right, so before I explain this, I think I explained this on something last week, either in a live stream or on this Q&A. I don't remember, so I'll explain it again. Before that, though, I do want to say I don't think this works, but just so you know what I'm talking about when I talk about that. Basically, the crane goes all the way to one side, and then it comes back about a quarter of the way, and then it goes all the way to one side again. If you open it right when it goes to all the way to that side a second time, so boom, and then goes all the way back there, that's when you open your orb. Supposedly, you're supposed to get a better drop. Now, I haven't really noticed a difference, but I still do it anyway, just because I'm a little superstitious. So that's how it worked, but I wouldn't expect too much from it, brother. Next question. What do you think about the game making a store refresh down to 6 hours instead of 8? Since there are 24 hours in a day, you can refresh 4 times instead of 3. I think this would help the community so much. I think it would as well. But looking at it from Foxnake's perspective, one big thing that they would lose out on is the cores. People spending cores to refresh those. But one thing that they would gain is that people are wanting to log in more often. So one of the metrics they look at is how often you are in the game. So this would improve that possibly at the expense of cores. I guess if they determine that they're going to make more money with that more engagement, then they will do that. If they think they're making more money with cores, then they're probably going to leave it how it is. And that's how I always think that they're making judgments, whether they do or not. That's always what is in my mind. If they're going to make more money with it, then it's probably a decision they're going to make. Next question, brother. ValleyFlyin, hope all is well with you and yours and are staying safe. My question is, can you play Dark Dimension 2 before completing Dark Dimension 1? There's been a lot of players that have said that they can, so I think that you can. So that my answer to the question would be yes. But if there's other information that you guys have that are in that stage of the game and not able to do that, let me know in the comments. All right, next question. Hey man, hope all is well. Do you feel we should push for refreshes on energy for Proxima and max her out as much as we can? Basically, what do you advise? So here's the thing. Pushing for energy on that Proxima event will get you more orbs, but the orbs have such bad drop rates. I don't think I've gotten her in the center pillar once. And this event's been here for what, 4 days now? So you can spend cores and refresh, but just keep in mind, you might not get a lot more Proxima shards with that because the orb drop rates just keep going down and down and down. I remember when these events started, there was just that character in there, and now there's a bunch of other characters, and I don't like it, but I'm still spending it. I want that Proxima at least at 5 stars to get her to that usable level, but I don't know. It might not make a difference. It might or it might not make a difference spending all that extra cores on there. So just keep that in mind. What's up, brother? Hope the family is well. Let's go smash it for my kids is awesome. Yeah, baby. I am getting a 6-star Black Bolt. I have 1,000 T4 ability mass. Was planning on maxing out Black Bolt, but should I get Ebony? And do you think I should stink T4s in the Black Order or max out Black Bolt? Planning on starting Dark Dimension 2 as soon as I get Black Bolt. So here's the thing. Should you do one or the other? I think you should do both. So the question is, which one do you think I should do first? And kind of my answer to that previous question, I like completing characters before I move to the next one. So if it was me personally, I would finish Black Bolt, all of his T4s are worth the T4. So probably putting all of those in. You might use up all 1,000 of your T4s, but you're not going to regret it. The Black Order is going to take a long time. A lot of T4s. That looks like a very, very good team. So I would probably do that one afterwards, but it is totally up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I think they're both worthy of your T4 investment, brother. Next question. Greetings from Virginia, brother. I hope you and the family are staying safe, enjoying the content. My question is this. Have you and Casino ever thought of doing the news live on a live stream? We've thought of it. It has been suggested many times. But you know what? I think I need a lot of editing. Even for this video, probably noticed there's a lot of editing because I say some silly stuff. So I wouldn't, maybe it is possible one day. I don't see doing that anytime soon. I don't know. Maybe for the 1-year anniversary, which is just coming up in a couple weeks. But yeah, if we open up the credits to questions, excuse me, the news video really goes almost an hour. I know it started off to be like a half-hour weekly thing. It's expanded to an hour. Same thing with this. It's expanded. So I think that would just make it longer. But I don't know if there's enough demand for that. Then yeah, we will do that. But as of right now, probably not. Next question. Give me a Hulk fist bump, buddy. Here you go, buddy. Hope you and your family are doing well. Here's my question. I'm getting Black Bolt. Think of getting his team up before he comes. Yo-Yo is my only 2-star. Should I take her now or wait? If I wait, I'm going to pivot to work on Toad, Blob, Sinister, over Crystal, Yo, and Karnak. What do you think? So all of these tunes are not farmable. There's no way to get extra shards unless you get lucky in some of these orbs for some of these characters. Other characters, they're not in these orbs at all. So with that said, I'm going to stick to what I said previously in the video. I like finishing up teams before I move on to the next one. So yeah, I would work on Inhumans. Inhumans is one of the top 3 teams in the game right now, in my opinion. The Brotherhood 2.0, the Marauders, they're good, but I don't think they're in the top 3 teams. So Inhumans, just for that reason, I would work on them, finish them, and then move on to some of these other tunes, brother. All right, is there any truth to Night Nurse rework rumor for later this year? I think there is truth to a rumor. I don't know if that is actually going to happen, but it might. I know in that Game Informer article, they mentioned Black Widow, Night Nurse possibly getting a rework. Do you think it's going to move her to Minerva or Shuri type, or just a lackluster improvement? So right now, you know, even if Night Nurse had a very strong kit, she doesn't really have a team. So that's going to make her a little lackluster unless she gets some kind of universal upgrade like Minerva or Shuri would. But yeah, as of right now, even if she gets upgrade, I don't think it's going to be that strong unless they give her synergy or make her like crazy like a Minerva. For whatever game mode, whatever team, just plug and play. ValleyFlyin, hope your family is doing well. I have to correct Casino on his false statement on people putting time in Blitz. He says the people who put in more time should get more rewards compared to people that don't. The problem with the statement is Blitz leans very hard towards higher TCP players, and new players are at a huge disadvantage. Blitz rewards are more points on how strong your team is, and 8.3 is for low powered rosters pretty much impossible with a few exceptions of the meta team. So I would say that you're definitely right on a per Blitz basis, but you got to remember that the people that put more time into this game have been playing longer. You know, to get that 8 million roster that you talk about here, you got to either spend a lot of time in this game or spend a lot of money in this game, and that is how you get those rosters. So in one sense, he is correct, but I definitely get what you're saying. The way that Blitz is structured right now is not really fair for people that don't have those rosters. And how do you make this a fair thing? Maybe making it like Arena and moving people into different shards for the Blitz rewards. Maybe reducing the rewards back down to 500, but giving different shards, putting people in different shards based on when you started the game. So that's one solution that could be done. But I get what you're saying, but I also don't think that what he said is totally false in that. And that is it for the questions this week, guys. Hopefully your questions got answered. Keep leaving those questions on the mailbag channel in that Discord server. I try to get to as many as possible. Sometimes I cut some out for time's sake. Sometimes I just don't have a good answer, but keep leaving it. And I do want to thank everybody that left the question on there, whether it did get answered or not. Make sure you guys join that. The link is down below. There's some other links down below if you want to further support the channel than just watching these videos, watching some of the ads. And if you want more of this content, I do at least 4 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this with your friends, leave a comment, and then smash on that notification bell so you get notified every time I put up a new video. Check me out on social media, and I will see you guys next time. Before you go though, give me a Hulk fist bump, baby. ValleyFlyin out.